What's happening, Marvel fans? I am Dial here with a poster review. I wasn't even going to make a video about this, but a lot of people were speculating up on this poster and what it could possibly tease for the future. So, a new poster has been released for the new Fantastic Four movie that's coming out in 2025, and it's celebrating 4 Day for April 4th. You can get it 4 4. And it shows a picture of the Human Torch flying and doing the flaming four symbol in the sky that he normally does. But what really got people about this poster is what's going on in the background. Because in the background, you can see that there is a Jetsons futuristic city behind the Human Torch where he's flying. And a lot of people are speculating that this could mean that the Fantastic Four is possibly not in the same timeline as the MCU, that it's in a different multiverse. Because the MCU, as we know right now, in its current timeline, 616, there is no futuristic city, and the Human Torch is flying in a futuristic city. So that could possibly mean either that they're in the future or they're in a different multiverse. Um, so my overall thoughts on this speculation is it's very, very fascinating. And I'm actually hoping that this is true because there's a lot of speculation going on um, that well, there were like rumors in the beginning that this Fantastic Four movie was going to be taking place in the 60s of Earth 616 to, I guess, their best way of trying to explain why the Fantastic Four haven't been referenced or they weren't around in since Iron Man and stuff like that. They haven't been talked about that because they were mostly taking place in the 60s, and then there was possible speculation that they went on a space mission and they disappeared for years, and then they will come back in the modern day at some point. So that was the rumor that how they would possibly explain how the Fantastic Four existed in the MCU, but not a lot of people talked about it. But even then, a lot of people found that to be a stretch. However, with this new rumor going around that the Fantastic Four could possibly take place in another multiverse where it's more of a futuristic Tomorrowland esque, world and stuff like that, that's actually much more intriguing, and it actually would make it make more sense why the Fantastic Four have not been mentioned at all in the MCU, because they were actually in a different timeline, and then somehow they make it into our timeline in Earth 616 because of some sort of some sort of multiversal mission, or they got here by accident and stuff like that. Honestly, I think that would make a little bit more sense. Even though I was able to go along with the fact that okay, this is probably they probably have been around in the 60s in 616, and then they disappeared because of a space mission or a multiversal mission, and then they've been gone for years. So I don't know, because there was that one comment that Doctor Strange did say in Multiverse of Madness that he knew what the Fantastic Four was, because he said that comment of, weren't you guys around in the 60s? Weren't you guys relevant in the 60s? So, that still could be the case for this new Fantastic Four movie. They still could go with, the Fantastic Four have been around in the 60s and they just disappeared or something like that. But them being in a different multiverse just makes it more creative and much more, they could do some more innovative stuff here, because in a way, if they do it in a different multiverse, they won't be as restrained to follow the rules and guidelines of what Earth 616 is. They don't have to fully stick with the continuity of what the MCU has done up to this point. Because one of my biggest issues with the MCU nowadays is how there's certain films that are so interconnected, and you have to watch other films to understand what's going on in other films. So if this new Fantastic Four movie takes place in a different timeline, they won't be restrained by that because they're in a different multiverse. where the continuity doesn't apply to them, and they could do other creative things. If they're going to be in this futuristic Tomorrowland city, that already makes it more interesting to watch, with Fantastic Four in a completely different environment. Like, all that just seems really, really fascinating. And just seeing the aesthetic of what we're getting from the posters that we're getting so far, it does give off a Jetsons Tomorrowland and kind of a retro feel at the same time, kind of like The Incredibles. So this will be very, very interesting to see if that is the direction they want to go about it. But once again, like, I think we just got to wait to see a trailer or other official news to come out for this, because once again, people are speculating from this poster, this Happy 4-4 poster. So this could mean absolutely nothing, but it would be cool if this was real. But what do you guys think about this? Like, would you guys want to see the Fantastic Four in a different multiverse? Do you want them to be in a more futuristic city, whatever? Or do you prefer them to be superheroes that are already established in the 616 universe and they were around like in the 60s and then they disappeared after a space mission or something like that? Which one would you prefer? Would it make you more excited if there was in a different multiverse or not? Comment your thoughts down below and let me know.